Welcome, and get comfortable. In this video, we're taking a quiet nighttime walk through Tokyo, one of the most fascinating cities in the world. As we move through glowing streets, quiet neighborhoods, and peaceful corners of the city, you'll hear a gentle stream of calm and interesting facts about Japan, from centuries-old traditions and culture to everyday life, food, history, and nature. Each fact is meant to drift by slowly, giving your mind something soft and interesting to listen to while you relax. Imagine the soft hum of the city, distant train sounds, glowing signs reflecting on the pavement, and the quiet rhythm of footsteps through Tokyo at night. There's nothing you need to focus on and nothing you need to remember. Just let the sounds of the walk and these small pieces of knowledge carry you along. So dim the lights, settle in, and take a slow breath. As we walk through Tokyo together, let's gently explore 1 hour of peaceful facts about Japan, and if you happen to fall asleep along the way, that's perfectly okay. Japan is an island nation in East Asia, surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, and made up of thousands of islands. Although the country consists of more than 6,000 islands, most people live on the 4 main ones: Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku. Honshu is the largest of these islands, and it is where Tokyo sits, stretching outward into one of the biggest urban areas on Earth. Today, Tokyo is home to more than 30 million people in its greater metropolitan area, making it the largest city region in the world. But Tokyo hasn't always been called Tokyo. For hundreds of years, this city was known as Edo. In fact, during the 17th century, Edo quietly grew into one of the largest cities on the planet. In 1868, during a period of dramatic change known as the Meiji Restoration, Japan's emperor moved the imperial capital from Kyoto to Edo. Soon after, the city was renamed Tokyo, which means Eastern Capital. Even today, if you wander through certain neighborhoods, you can still feel echoes of Edo in the narrow streets, small shrines, and traditional wooden buildings tucked between modern skyscrapers. Japan itself has a poetic name. In Japanese, the country is often called Nihon or Nippon. Both words mean origin of the sun. Because Japan lies to the east of China, it became known historically as the land of the rising sun. That image of the rising sun became so central to Japan's identity that it appears on the national flag, a simple red circle representing the sun itself. While walking through Tokyo at night, you might notice small shrines sitting quietly between office buildings or beside busy sidewalks. These shrines belong to Shinto, one of Japan's oldest spiritual traditions. Shinto is deeply connected to nature and the belief in kami, which are sacred spirits thought to live in mountains, rivers, trees, and even certain places. In Shinto belief, nature itself is alive with spiritual presence. This connection to nature can be felt throughout Japan. Mountains are often considered sacred, and some forests are treated almost like living temples. One of the most famous mountains in Japan is Mount Fuji, a perfectly shaped volcano that has inspired artists, poets, and travelers for centuries. For many people, Fuji represents the quiet beauty of the Japanese landscape. Another important part of Japanese culture is the tradition of bowing. In Japan, bowing is used in everyday life for greetings, gratitude, and apologies. A small bow might be used when saying hello, while a deeper bow expresses stronger respect or sincerity. It is such a natural part of communication that people often bow slightly even while speaking on the phone, without thinking about it. As we continue our slow walk through Tokyo, imagine passing under glowing streetlights while quiet trains move in the distance. Japan's railway system is famous around the world, especially the high-speed trains known as the Shinkansen. The Shinkansen, often called the bullet train, first began operating in 1964. At the time, it was one of the fastest train systems ever built. Even today, these trains are known not only for their speed, but also for their incredible punctuality. Delays are often measured in seconds rather than minutes. If a train is even a minute late, passengers may receive a small certificate explaining the delay to show employers or teachers. Precision and attention to detail are qualities that appear in many areas of Japanese life. You can see it in carefully prepared meals, in quiet tea ceremonies, and even in the way gardens are designed. Traditional Japanese gardens are meant to represent miniature landscapes. A single rock might symbolize a mountain, while carefully raked gravel can represent flowing water. Walking through a Japanese garden is meant to feel like moving through a peaceful, natural world in small form. Springtime brings one of the most beloved traditions in Japan. For a short time each year, cherry trees across the country bloom with soft pink flowers. These blossoms are known as sakura. People gather beneath the blooming trees for picnics and quiet celebrations in a tradition called hanami, which means flower viewing. The blossoms only last about 1 to 2 weeks before the petals fall like gentle pink snow. Because of this short life, cherry blossoms have become a symbol of the beauty and temporary nature of life. As we continue wandering through the quiet nighttime streets of Tokyo, you might notice vending machines glowing softly on the corners. Japan has millions of vending machines spread across the country. They sell everything from drinks and snacks to umbrellas, hot coffee, and sometimes even warm meals. These machines are so common that you can often find one every few steps in busy neighborhoods. Another small cultural tradition in Japan is removing shoes before entering homes. At the entrance of many houses, you'll find a small step called a genkan. Here, visitors remove their outdoor shoes and change into indoor slippers. This simple practice helps keep living spaces clean and reflects the respect people show toward their homes. Japanese culture often blends old traditions with modern life. In Tokyo, it is common to see centuries-old temples standing just minutes away from neon-lit skyscrapers. This balance between past and present is one of the things that makes the city feel so unique. Even while surrounded by one of the busiest cities on Earth, it is still possible to find quiet corners, peaceful shrines, and hidden gardens where the noise fades away. And as we continue this calm, nighttime walk through Tokyo, there are still many more gentle stories and fascinating details about Japan waiting to drift into the night. As we continue our quiet walk through Tokyo, the city slowly reveals layers of history hidden beneath its modern surface. Long before the glowing skyscrapers and busy train stations, this area was a small fishing village near a marshy bay. Over time, that village slowly grew into the city once known as Edo. During the early 1600s, Japan entered a long period of peace under the rule of military leaders called shoguns. The most powerful of these leaders belonged to the Tokugawa family, who established their government in Edo. Under their rule, Edo transformed into one of the largest cities in the world. By the 1700s, it was already home to more than 1 million people, an enormous population for that time. Narrow streets filled with merchants, craftsmen, travelers, and samurai created a lively and complex urban world. Although the emperor remained an important symbol of authority, the real political power during this era belonged to the shogun and the military government. This period of history is often called the Edo period, and it lasted for more than 250 years. One of the most fascinating aspects of Edo society was the samurai class. Samurai were professional warriors who served powerful lords known as daimyo. These warriors were trained not only in combat but also in philosophy, discipline, and strategy. The samurai lived by a moral code often referred to as bushido, or the way of the warrior. This code valued loyalty, honor, courage, and self-discipline. For many samurai, honor was considered more important than life itself. If a samurai failed their lord or brought shame upon themselves, they might perform a ritual act known as seppuku, a ceremonial form of suicide meant to restore their honor. Although this may sound intense to modern ears, it reflects how deeply the idea of personal honor shaped samurai culture. Samurai were also known for their distinctive armor and weapons. Their most famous weapon was the katana, a curved sword known for its sharpness and craftsmanship. Japanese swordsmiths spent years mastering their craft, folding steel many times to create blades that were both strong and flexible. Some of these swords were treated almost like sacred objects and passed down through generations. But samurai life was not only about battle. During the long peace of the Edo period, many samurai became scholars, administrators, and artists. They studied poetry, calligraphy, and philosophy, blending the warrior spirit with intellectual pursuits. At the same time, ordinary people in Edo developed a vibrant city culture. The merchant and artisan classes began creating forms of entertainment that are still famous today. One example is kabuki theater. Kabuki performances are known for their dramatic storytelling, elaborate costumes, and stylized movements. Actors often wear striking makeup and perform on colorful stages filled with music and dance. Another art form that flourished during this time was ukiyo-e. Ukiyo-e were woodblock prints that depicted scenes of everyday life, famous actors, beautiful landscapes, and moments from popular stories. These prints were surprisingly affordable and widely collected by ordinary people. Many of the images we associate with traditional Japan today, including pictures of Mount Fuji and Edo streets, come from ukiyo-e prints. Life in Edo was also carefully organized. Society was divided into classes with samurai at the top, followed by farmers, artisans, and merchants. Interestingly, merchants were officially placed at the bottom of the social hierarchy, even though many of them became quite wealthy. Despite these social divisions, the city itself was full of energy and creativity. Markets sold fresh fish, rice, vegetables, and handmade goods. Street vendors prepared quick meals for travelers and workers passing by. Even today, the tradition of quick and satisfying street food can still be felt in Tokyo's modern food culture. Another interesting feature of Edo life was the system of alternate attendance. Powerful regional lords, the daimyo, were required to spend every other year living in Edo. When they traveled, they often moved with large processions of samurai and servants along carefully maintained highways. These journeys helped keep the lords loyal to the shogunate while also connecting distant regions of the country. The roads they traveled eventually helped shape Japan's transportation routes. As we continue walking through the quiet streets of Tokyo tonight, it's interesting to imagine what this city might have looked like centuries ago. Instead of neon lights and electric signs, Edo would have been lit by lanterns and candles. Instead of trains rushing through underground tunnels, travelers would have walked or ridden horses along narrow roads. Wooden houses stood close together and small canals carried boats through parts of the city. Despite the differences, some aspects of life have remained surprisingly similar. Neighborhood shrines still sit quietly between buildings. Local shops still serve familiar foods, and people still gather in small groups to share meals, conversations, and moments of calm. Eventually, however, the long peace of the Edo period began to change. In the mid-1800s, ships from foreign nations began arriving along Japan's shores. For more than 2 centuries, Japan had limited contact with the outside world, but this isolation could not last forever. When foreign powers demanded trade and diplomacy, Japan faced a difficult decision. The country soon began opening its ports to international trade. This moment triggered enormous changes in Japanese society. The old shogunate government eventually collapsed, and power was restored to the emperor, in a political transformation known as the Meiji Restoration. With this change, Japan began rapidly modernizing. Railways were built, factories appeared, and the country started adopting technologies from around the world. Edo itself changed as well. When the emperor moved his residence there, the city was given a new name, Tokyo, the eastern capital. From that moment on, Tokyo would continue growing into the vast, vibrant city we see today. And as we continue our slow nighttime walk through its streets, every corner of the city still carries quiet echoes of the centuries that came before. As our quiet walk through Tokyo continues, the city slowly shifts from stories of warriors and history towards something a little more comforting. Food. Japanese food culture is deeply connected to the seasons, the land, and the simple idea that meals should be both nourishing and beautiful. Even the way food is presented is carefully considered. A traditional Japanese meal often includes several small dishes arranged neatly on the table. Instead of one large plate, there might be a bowl of rice, a small serving of fish, a bowl of soup, and a few delicate side dishes. This style of eating allows people to enjoy many flavors and textures in a single meal. Rice has been the foundation of Japanese cuisine for centuries. For a long time, rice was so important that it was even used as a form of currency and taxation. Farmers would pay taxes to their lords in measured amounts of rice. Today, rice is still served with most traditional meals, usually steamed and placed in a small bowl. Another common part of Japanese meals is miso soup. Miso is made from fermented soybeans and has a warm, slightly salty flavor. A bowl of miso soup might contain tofu, seaweed, or small slices of vegetables. It is simple, comforting, and often served at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. As we imagine walking past small restaurants and glowing shop windows in Tokyo at night, we might notice another famous dish. Sushi. Although sushi is now popular all around the world, its origins were much simpler. Early forms of sushi were created as a way to preserve fish by fermenting it with rice. Over time, This technique evolved into the fresh and delicate style of sushi we know today. In Tokyo, sushi chefs often spend many years training before they are considered masters of their craft. They learn how to select the best fish, how to slice it precisely, and how to shape each piece of rice by hand. A single piece of sushi may look simple, but behind it are years of careful practice and attention to detail. Another beloved Japanese dish is ramen. Ramen is a comforting bowl of noodles served in a rich broth, often topped with slices of pork, soft-boiled eggs, green onions, and seaweed. Each region of Japan has its own version of ramen, with different broths, noodles, and flavors. In Tokyo alone, there are thousands of ramen shops, each with its own unique style. Late at night, it is common to see people sitting quietly in small ramen shops, enjoying a warm bowl of noodles after a long day. Street food is also an important part of Japanese food culture. In lively neighborhoods and festival areas, you might find small stalls selling snacks like takoyaki, which are round balls of batter filled with pieces of octopus. Another popular street food is yakitori. Yakitori consists of small pieces of chicken grilled on skewers over charcoal. The smoky aroma of grilling yakitori often drifts through narrow streets lined with tiny restaurants. Many of these small restaurants are called izakayas. An izakaya is a casual place where friends and coworkers gather after work to share food and drinks. The atmosphere is relaxed and social. People order small plates to share, sometimes trying many different dishes throughout the evening. Despite the busy nature of Tokyo, these cozy spaces create moments where people can slow down and enjoy each other's company. Japanese sweets also have a long and fascinating history. Traditional sweets, known as wagashi, are often served during tea ceremonies. Wagashi are usually small, delicate desserts made from ingredients like sweet red bean paste, rice flour, and sugar. They are often shaped to resemble flowers, leaves, or seasonal scenery. These sweets are designed not only to taste good, but also to reflect the beauty of the time of year. Tea itself plays a very important role in Japanese culture. Green tea has been enjoyed in Japan for hundreds of years. One of the most famous types is matcha, a finely ground powder made from specially grown tea leaves. Matcha has a rich, slightly bitter flavor and is traditionally prepared in a calm and careful ritual known as the tea ceremony. The tea ceremony is not just about drinking tea, it is also about mindfulness, respect, and appreciating simple moments. Every movement in the ceremony is slow and intentional, from the way the tea bowl is placed on the mat to the way the tea is whisked and served. Even outside of formal ceremonies, tea remains a daily part of life for many people in Japan. In restaurants, it is common for green tea to be served alongside meals. At home, families might share tea while relaxing in the evening. As we continue wandering through Tokyo at night, we might pass glowing vending machines on the sidewalk. Japan has millions of vending machines scattered across the country. Some sell cold drinks in the summer and warm drinks in the winter. With the press of a button, you can buy canned coffee, green tea, fruit juice, or hot chocolate. This small convenience has become a normal and comforting part of everyday life. Convenience stores are another quiet part of the city's rhythm. In Japan, convenience stores, often called konbini, are open 24 hours a day and offer far more than snacks. Inside, you can find fresh rice balls called onigiri, neatly packed bento meals, sandwiches, desserts, and even hot foods. For many people in Tokyo, stopping by a convenience store on the way home is a small daily ritual. They might pick up a warm meal, a drink, or a simple dessert to enjoy later. Despite the speed of modern city life, Japanese food culture often encourages people to slow down and appreciate small details. The colors of a dish, the balance of flavors, the quiet satisfaction of a warm bowl of soup on a cool evening. And as we continue this calm nighttime walk through Tokyo, the soft glow of restaurant windows and the gentle sounds of late-night kitchens remind us that food, like so many parts of Japanese culture, is about more than just eating. It is about comfort, connection, and the simple pleasure of sharing a moment. As our quiet walk through Tokyo continues, the city slowly grows calmer. The busiest streets fade behind us, and the atmosphere becomes softer and quieter. Here and there, tucked between apartment buildings and office towers, you might notice small gates standing quietly beside the sidewalk. These gates often mark the entrance to a shrine. In Japan, shrines are places connected to the spiritual tradition of Shinto. one of the country's oldest belief systems. Shinto is centered around the idea of kami, which are sacred spirits believed to exist throughout nature. Kami might be connected to mountains, rivers, forests, or even particular places where something meaningful once happened. Because of this belief, shrines are often built in locations where nature feels especially peaceful. Many shrines are marked by a distinctive gate called a torii. Passing beneath a torii gate is thought to symbolize moving from the ordinary world into a sacred space. Inside the shrine grounds, the atmosphere often becomes very quiet. Stone paths lead through small gardens, and wooden buildings stand peacefully among trees. Visitors usually begin by washing their hands at a small basin of water near the entrance. This act is a symbolic way of cleansing oneself before approaching the shrine. Afterward, people may approach the main shrine building. Some toss a small coin into an offering box, bow respectfully, clap their hands twice, and then pause for a brief prayer or moment of reflection. These gestures are simple, but they create a calm rhythm that has been repeated by countless visitors for generations. While shrines belong to the Shinto tradition, Japan is also home to many Buddhist temples. Buddhism arrived in Japan more than 1,000 years ago and gradually blended with local beliefs and customs. Because of this, it is common for both temples and shrines to exist side by side in the same city, and sometimes even within the same neighborhood. Temples often have a slightly different atmosphere. Large wooden halls house statues of the Buddha or other important figures in Buddhist teaching. The scent of incense often drifts through the air as visitors light small sticks and place them in bronze burners. Some temples also have large bells that can be rung with a suspended wooden beam. The deep sound of these bells echoes slowly through the air, creating a peaceful moment of stillness. In many parts of Japan, temples and shrines become especially lively during festivals. These festivals, known as matsuri, are celebrations that have taken place for hundreds of years. During a matsuri, streets may fill with colorful lanterns, music, and food stalls. Local residents sometimes carry portable shrines called mikoshi through the streets in large, energetic processions. The idea behind these processions is that the spirit of the shrine temporarily travels through the neighborhood, bringing good fortune to the community. Despite the excitement of festivals, shrines and temples can also be deeply peaceful places late at night or early in the morning. If you were to walk past one in Tokyo after dark, you might see lanterns glowing softly beside the path, with the rest of the grounds resting quietly under the trees. Japan also has a long tradition of gardens designed for reflection and calm. Many temples include carefully arranged gardens filled with stones, moss, water, and small trees. These gardens are not random. Every rock and plant is placed intentionally to create a sense of balance. One well-known style of garden is the Zen rock garden. In these spaces, white gravel is carefully raked into patterns that resemble ripples in water. Large stones are placed among the gravel, sometimes representing islands or mountains. The design encourages visitors to sit quietly and reflect. Even though the garden may contain only a few elements, it can suggest a much larger landscape. Another traditional feature you might notice near temples and gardens is the presence of koi ponds. Koi are colorful carp that swim slowly through clear water. Their calm movement adds to the peaceful atmosphere of the garden. Watching koi glide through the water can feel almost meditative. Japanese architecture often reflects this same connection to nature and simplicity. Traditional buildings are often made from wood, paper, and natural materials. Sliding doors called shoji allow rooms to open or close depending on the time of day. Tatami mats made from woven straw cover the floors. These materials create spaces that feel warm, quiet, and closely connected to the natural world outside. Even the layout of traditional homes often includes small gardens or views of trees and plants. This design allows nature to remain part of daily life, even in the middle of a busy city. As Tokyo grew into one of the largest cities in the world, many of these traditional spaces remained. Modern buildings may tower above the streets, but hidden between them are still quiet shrines, small gardens, and temples that have existed for centuries. Walking through the city can sometimes feel like traveling between different layers of time. One moment, you may be surrounded by glowing billboards and rushing trains. The next moment, you might step into a small shrine courtyard where everything feels still. These peaceful spaces remind people to slow down, even if only for a moment. They offer a place to pause, breathe, and reconnect with something quieter than the noise of the city. And as our calm nighttime walk through Tokyo continues, these temples, shrines, and gardens quietly watch over the city just as they have for hundreds of years. As our quiet walk through Tokyo continues, the city begins to settle into the slower rhythm of the night. Many office lights have dimmed, and the rush of the evening commute has faded. Yet, Tokyo never truly sleeps. Instead, it shifts into a softer and calmer version of itself. Small restaurants remain open late, their warm lights spilling gently onto the sidewalks. Inside, a few people sit quietly enjoying a bowl of noodles or sharing conversation after a long day. Tokyo is often described as one of the busiest cities in the world, but everyday life here follows a steady and thoughtful rhythm. Many people begin their mornings early, commuting to work or school by train. Tokyo's railway system is one of the most extensive and efficient in the world, connecting nearly every part of the city. During the morning rush hour, stations can become extremely busy, with thousands of people moving quickly through the platforms. Despite the crowds, the process often remains surprisingly orderly. Passengers line up patiently along marked areas of the platform, waiting for the train doors to open. When the train arrives, people step off first before others board. Once inside, the cars become quiet again. Many passengers spend their time reading, listening to music, or simply resting during the journey. For some commuters, the train ride offers a rare moment of stillness in the middle of a busy day. Schools in Japan also follow traditions that may feel different from those in many other countries. Students often walk or cycle to school together in small groups. Many wear school uniforms, which are designed to create a sense of unity among students. In many schools, students participate in cleaning their own classrooms at the end of the day. Instead of hiring separate cleaning staff, the students sweep floors, wipe desks, and tidy shared spaces together. This practice teaches responsibility and respect for the environment they use every day. After school, many students take part in club activities. These clubs can include sports like baseball, soccer, or basketball, but also cultural activities such as calligraphy, music, or traditional tea ceremony. Club activities are often an important part of student life and can create strong friendships that last for years. As evening approaches, many workers return home after long days at the office. Some may stop by small restaurants or cafes before heading back, while others pick up meals from convenience stores or neighborhood shops. In many Japanese homes, dinner is a time for family members to sit down together and share a meal. Even simple meals are often prepared with care and attention. Rice, vegetables, fish, and soup might be arranged neatly on the table, creating a balanced and comforting dinner. Japanese homes themselves are often designed to feel calm and uncluttered. Traditional rooms may include tatami flooring and sliding doors made from wood and paper. These doors allow rooms to change their purpose throughout the day. A space used for sitting and conversation during the afternoon might become a sleeping area at night when futon bedding is laid out on the floor. This flexibility allows even small homes to feel open and peaceful. Another quiet tradition in Japanese homes is the evening bath. Bathing in Japan is often less about washing and more about relaxing. Many homes include deep bathtubs designed for soaking in warm water. Before entering the bath, people wash and rinse themselves carefully. Then they step into the hot water simply to relax. This nightly ritual helps people unwind and prepare for rest after the day's activities. Public bathhouses, known as sento, have also been a part of Japanese life for generations. In the past, many homes did not have private baths, so neighbors would visit local bathhouses to wash and relax. Even today, some people still enjoy visiting sento, or larger hot spring baths called onsen. These spaces are often calm and quiet, offering a moment of peaceful relaxation. Back outside, the streets of Tokyo continue glowing softly under the city lights. Vending machines hum quietly on the corners, convenience stores welcome late-night customers, and distant trains move through the city like steady pulses of motion. Despite its size, Tokyo is filled with countless small neighborhoods, each with its own personality. Some areas are lively and bright with entertainment and music. Others are quiet residential streets, lined with bicycles, small gardens, and softly lit houses. Walking through these neighborhoods at night can feel surprisingly peaceful. You might hear the distant sound of footsteps, the quiet buzz of a street lamp, or the soft hum of a passing train far away. In moments like these, it becomes clear that Tokyo is not only a city of speed and technology, It is also a city of routines, traditions, and everyday moments shared by millions of people. From early morning train rides to evening meals at home, daily life in Japan is shaped by habits that balance work, community, and quiet reflection. And as our calm nighttime walk continues through the gentle glow of Tokyo's streets, these everyday rhythms become part of the peaceful story of the city itself. The night air in Tokyo carries a quiet energy. Even long after the busiest hours have passed, the city still feels alive in gentle and subtle ways. A distant train glides along elevated tracks. Somewhere down the street, a bicycle rolls softly across the pavement. The glow of streetlights reflects on quiet sidewalks, creating small pools of warm light between darker stretches of road. Tokyo is a city of incredible scale, yet it is also made up of thousands of small neighborhoods, each with its own unique atmosphere. Some streets are filled with restaurants and tiny shops packed closely together. Others are calm residential lanes where houses sit side by side, often with small potted plants or bicycles resting near the entrance. In many of these neighborhoods, you might notice narrow alleyways branching off from the main roads. These alleys sometimes lead to hidden bars, cozy cafes, or small family-run restaurants that have served the community for decades. Places like these are sometimes called yokocho, which means small alley districts filled with tiny food stalls and drinking spots. Inside these narrow lanes, lanterns hang above doorways, and the scent of grilled food drifts through the air. Despite the crowds that sometimes gather here, these spaces themselves are small and intimate, creating a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. Tokyo is also known for something that surprises many visitors: its remarkable level of safety. Even late at night, it is common to see people walking home alone, students returning from study sessions, or workers quietly heading back after long shifts. Lost items are often returned to local police boxes, known as koban. These small neighborhood police stations can be found all across the city. If someone loses a wallet, phone, or bag, there is a good chance it may eventually find its way to one of these stations. The idea of community responsibility plays an important role in everyday life. In many neighborhoods, residents participate in small local events and seasonal festivals. They may help decorate streets during celebrations or assist in organizing community activities. These shared efforts help maintain strong neighborhood connections, even within such a large city. Another interesting part of daily life in Japan is the attention given to punctuality. Being on time is considered a sign of respect. Trains arrive precisely when scheduled, meetings often begin exactly at their planned time, and even small appointments are taken seriously. This shared understanding helps daily life run smoothly in such a densely populated environment. Technology also plays a large role in modern Japanese life. Japan has long been known for innovation in electronics, robotics, and transportation. In Tokyo, it is common to see advanced ticket gates at train stations, automated parking systems, and restaurants where orders can be placed using small touchscreens. Yet, even with this advanced technology, many traditional practices remain unchanged. Handwritten calligraphy is still taught in schools. Seasonal festivals continue to follow customs that have existed for generations. And many people still visit shrines at the beginning of each year to pray for good fortune in the months ahead. The arrival of the New Year is one of the most important celebrations in Japan. At midnight on New Year's Eve, Buddhist temples across the country ring their large bells. These bells are traditionally rung 108 times. In Buddhist belief, the number represents the earthly desires that can cause human suffering. Each bell ring symbolizes letting go of one of these burdens and beginning the new year with a clear mind. Many families also visit shrines during the first few days of January in a tradition known as the first shrine visit of the year. People offer prayers, purchase small charms for good luck, and sometimes write wishes on wooden plaques that are left at the shrine. Seasonal traditions like this reflect how closely Japanese culture remains connected to the passing of time and the cycles of the year. Spring brings cherry blossoms. Summer arrives with lively festivals and fireworks. Autumn fills parks and mountains with red and golden leaves, and winter often brings quiet snowfall to parts of the country. Each season is appreciated in its own way. Even everyday objects often reflect these seasonal changes. Restaurants may adjust their menus based on the time of year. Shops sell sweets designed to resemble seasonal flowers or leaves, and people sometimes decorate their homes with small items that reflect the current season. This awareness of time and nature creates a feeling of balance between the fast pace of modern life and the slower rhythms of the natural world. Tokyo may be one of the most technologically advanced cities on Earth, but moments of calm can still be found everywhere. A quiet park bench beneath a tree, a lantern glowing beside a small shrine, or the simple comfort of walking down a peaceful street while the city gently hums in the distance. These small moments, scattered throughout the city, give Tokyo a character that is both energetic and deeply calm at the same time. In many ways, Japan is a country where very old traditions exist comfortably alongside modern life. You might see someone in a business suit walking past a person wearing a traditional kimono. Just a few steps away, a centuries-old temple might stand quietly beside a modern train station. The kimono itself has a long and fascinating history. For hundreds of years, it was the standard form of clothing worn throughout Japan. The word kimono simply means thing to wear, but over time it came to represent a very specific style of garment. Kimonos are usually made from silk or other fine fabrics and are wrapped around the body, secured with a wide belt known as an obi. The designs often reflect the seasons, with patterns of flowers, birds, waves, or leaves carefully woven into the fabric. Although most people today wear modern clothing in their daily lives, kimonos are still worn during special occasions. You might see them at festivals, weddings, coming-of-age ceremonies, or while visiting historic districts and temples. Another traditional art form that has remained important over the centuries is calligraphy. Japanese calligraphy, known as shodo, is the art of writing characters using a brush and ink. But it is not simply about writing words clearly. The movement of the brush, the balance of each stroke, and the rhythm of the characters all contribute to the beauty of the finished work. For many people who practice calligraphy, the act of writing becomes almost meditative. Each stroke requires focus and calm breathing, creating a moment of quiet concentration. Another peaceful artistic tradition is the arrangement of flowers. This practice is known as ikebana. Unlike ordinary flower arrangements, ikebana focuses on simplicity and balance. A few carefully chosen branches or flowers are arranged in a way that highlights their natural shapes. Empty space is considered just as important as the flowers themselves. The result is an arrangement that feels calm, elegant, and deeply connected to nature. Japan also has a long history of storytelling and folklore. For generations, people shared stories about mysterious creatures, wandering spirits, and unusual events that might occur in the quiet countryside. Some of these creatures are known as yokai. Yokai can take many forms. Some resemble animals with magical powers, while others are playful spirits that enjoy surprising humans. Not all of them are frightening. In fact, many stories describe them as mischievous or even humorous. These tales were once told around fires or passed down through families. Today, they still appear in books, films, and festivals throughout Japan. Music has also played an important role in Japanese culture. Traditional instruments such as the shamisen and the koto have been used for centuries. The shamisen is a 3-stringed instrument played with a large pick, producing a sharp and rhythmic sound. The koto is a long, wooden instrument with multiple strings stretched across it. Musicians pluck the strings gently to create flowing, peaceful melodies. These instruments are often heard in traditional performances and cultural events. At the same time, modern Japanese music has become popular around the world. From pop and rock to electronic music and film soundtracks, Japanese musicians continue to create new styles while drawing inspiration from older traditions. Art, music, and storytelling are all ways that culture is shared from one generation to the next. In Japan, this sense of continuity is very strong. Many craftspeople spend decades perfecting their skills. A pottery maker might spend years learning how to shape clay and fire it in a kiln. A carpenter might study traditional building methods that have been passed down through families for generations. These crafts are often described using the idea of shokunin, a word that suggests deep dedication to mastering a craft. Being a shokunin is not only about technical skill, it also reflects a sense of pride in doing work carefully and respectfully. This mindset can be found in many areas of Japanese life, from cooking and gardening to woodworking and design. Even small details are often given thoughtful attention. Wrapping a gift, arranging a room, or preparing a simple meal can all become opportunities to express care and craftsmanship. These traditions help explain why Japanese culture often places such importance on patience and gradual improvement. Rather than rushing toward perfection, people are encouraged to keep practicing, learning, and refining their work little by little. Over time, the steady dedication can lead to remarkable results, and in the quiet rhythm of daily life, these small acts of creativity and care continue shaping the culture of Japan, just as they have for countless generations. Across Japan, the changing seasons shape daily life in quiet and beautiful ways. Rather than seeing the year as one long stretch of time, many people pay close attention to the subtle shifts that happen as one season slowly becomes the next. Spring begins gently. After the colder months of winter, trees begin to bud, and the air slowly grows warmer. Across the country, cherry blossom trees start to bloom, filling parks, streets, and riversides with soft clouds of pale pink flowers. These blossoms appear first in the southern regions of Japan and gradually move northward over several weeks. Weather forecasts during this time often include something known as the cherry blossom front, which tracks where the blossoms are expected to appear next. Families, friends, and coworkers gather beneath the blooming trees to enjoy picnics and quiet moments together. People spread blankets on the grass, share food, and watch as the petals drift gently through the air. This tradition, known as Hanami, has been celebrated in Japan for hundreds of years. Even in busy cities like Tokyo, parks fill with people who pause their routines to enjoy the brief beauty of the blossoms. After the blossoms fade, spring slowly turns into early summer. The days grow longer and the air becomes warmer and more humid. In many places, colorful hydrangea flowers bloom during the rainy season, adding soft blues and purples to gardens and temple grounds. This rainy period usually lasts several weeks and helps nourish the rice fields that are planted during this time. Rice farming has been an important part of Japanese life for centuries. Even today, many rural areas are filled with rice paddies that reflect the sky like shallow mirrors during the growing season. By midsummer, the weather becomes hot and bright. Summer in Japan is known for lively festivals, fireworks displays, and evening celebrations. Many neighborhoods hold local festivals where lanterns are hung along the streets and traditional music fills the air. Food stalls appear, selling snacks like grilled corn, sweet shaved ice, and savory festival treats. Fireworks festivals are especially popular during the summer months. People gather along rivers and parks to watch large fireworks bloom in the night sky. Some of these displays last for hours, filling the sky with color and light. During these events, it is common to see people wearing light summer robes called yukata. Yukata are similar to kimonos, but made from lighter cotton fabric, making them comfortable for warm evenings. As summer fades, the air slowly becomes cooler. Autumn arrives quietly, bringing one of the most beautiful transformations in the Japanese landscape. Trees begin to change color, turning shades of deep red, bright orange, and golden yellow. Maple trees are especially admired during this season. People travel to parks, mountains, and temple gardens to view the autumn leaves in a tradition known as momijigari, which means maple viewing. Just like cherry blossom viewing in the spring, autumn leaf viewing encourages people to slow down and appreciate the beauty of nature. The cooler air of autumn also brings seasonal foods. Roasted sweet potatoes, chestnuts, and warm soups become common during this time of year. Street vendors sometimes sell hot roasted sweet potatoes from small trucks that slowly drive through neighborhoods, announcing their arrival with soft recorded melodies. Eventually, autumn gives way to winter. In many parts of Japan, winter brings clear skies and crisp air. Northern regions and mountainous areas receive heavy snowfall, creating landscapes covered in thick blankets of white. Even in cities that receive little snow, the colder months bring a quiet stillness. During winter evenings, people often gather indoors, sharing warm meals and hot drinks. One comforting winter tradition is the kotatsu. A kotatsu is a low table covered with a thick blanket with a small heater underneath. People sit around the table with their legs tucked beneath the blanket, creating a warm and cozy space. Families might eat dinner, watch television, or simply relax together while sitting around the kotatsu. Another comforting winter dish is hot pot. Hot pot meals involve a pot of simmering broth placed in the center of the table. Vegetables, tofu, meat, and noodles are slowly cooked in the broth as everyone gathers around and shares the meal together. These dishes are especially popular on cold evenings, when the warmth of the steam fills the room. Throughout the year, these seasonal traditions help create a rhythm that many people in Japan follow almost without thinking. The arrival of blossoms, the excitement of summer festivals, the quiet beauty of autumn leaves, and the calm stillness of winter each bring their own special moments. In this way, the passing of time is marked not only by dates on a calendar, but by changes in nature, food, celebrations, and daily life. And within these gentle seasonal shifts, the culture of Japan continues to reflect a deep appreciation for the simple beauty of the world around it. Japan's landscape is just as fascinating as its culture and traditions. Despite being known for its cities and advanced technology, much of the country is actually covered in mountains and forests. Around 70% of Japan's land is mountainous, which means many cities and towns are built in narrow plains between hills and rivers. This geography has shaped how people live, travel, and build communities. Mountains have always held a special meaning in Japanese culture. Many are considered sacred, and some have been places of pilgrimage for centuries. Perhaps the most famous mountain in Japan is Mount Fuji. With its nearly perfect cone shape rising above the surrounding landscape, Mount Fuji has inspired artists, poets, and travelers for generations. For many people, Fuji is not only a beautiful natural landmark, but also a spiritual symbol. Every summer, thousands of people climb the mountain, beginning their journey during the night so they can reach the summit in time to watch the sunrise. Seeing the sun rise from the top of Mount Fuji is considered a memorable and meaningful experience. Japan is also a country shaped by powerful natural forces. Because it lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire, the region experiences frequent earthquakes. Over many centuries, people in Japan have learned to design buildings that can better withstand these movements of the earth. Modern structures, especially in large cities, are often built with advanced engineering techniques that allow buildings to sway safely during earthquakes rather than collapse. Japan is also home to many volcanoes and natural hot springs. These hot springs are known as onsen. Onsens can be found across the country, often in scenic mountain towns or peaceful rural areas. People visit these hot springs to relax in warm, mineral-rich water while enjoying views of forests, rivers, or snowy landscapes. Bathing in an onsen is usually done quietly and respectfully. Visitors wash thoroughly before entering the water, helping keep the baths clean for everyone. For many people, soaking in an onsen is one of the most relaxing experiences in Japanese life. Rivers also play an important role in Japan's geography. Because the mountains are so close to the sea, most rivers in Japan are relatively short but fast-flowing. These rivers have helped shape fertile valleys where farming communities developed long ago. Fishing has also been an important source of food throughout Japanese history. Surrounded by ocean on all sides, Japan has always had a deep relationship with the sea. Fish and seafood became central parts of the traditional diet. Even today, seafood markets in coastal cities are filled with a wide variety of fish, shellfish, and seaweed gathered from nearby waters. The ocean also influences Japan's climate. Warm and cold ocean currents affect the weather across the islands, creating regional differences in temperature and rainfall. In the north, winters can bring heavy snowfall. In the south, the climate is warmer and more tropical. These regional differences contribute to the wide variety of landscapes found throughout the country. Dense forests cover many of Japan's mountains. Walking through these forests can feel incredibly peaceful. Tall cedar trees stretch high into the sky, and the ground is often covered in soft moss. Some forests have walking paths that lead visitors through quiet valleys and past hidden shrines. In certain places, the forest itself feels almost like a natural temple. Spending time in nature is something many people in Japan value deeply. There is even a practice known as forest bathing. Forest bathing does not involve water. Instead, it simply means walking slowly through a forest while paying attention to the sights, sounds, and smells of the natural environment. The idea is that spending time in nature can help reduce stress and improve well-being. Even in large cities, parks and green spaces provide moments of calm. In Tokyo, for example, large parks offer places where people can walk, relax, or sit quietly beneath trees. These green spaces become especially popular during seasonal events like cherry blossom viewing or autumn leaf watching. Animals also play a role in Japanese folklore and cultural symbolism. The crane, for example, is often associated with longevity and good fortune. In traditional stories, cranes are sometimes said to live for 1,000 years. Another animal often seen in Japanese culture is the fox. Foxes appear frequently in folklore and are believed to be messengers of certain Shinto deities. Statues of foxes can often be found guarding shrine entrances. Deer are also special in some regions. In certain places, deer are allowed to roam freely through parks and temple grounds, becoming gentle symbols of harmony between nature and human communities. These natural landscapes, animals, and mountains have all helped shape the stories and traditions that developed throughout Japan. They remind people that even in a modern world filled with technology and cities, nature continues to play an important role in daily life. And across the islands of Japan, from quiet forests to distant mountains and peaceful hot springs, the natural world continues to provide moments of calm and reflection. Japanese culture also places a deep value on harmony. This idea, often described by the word wa, reflects the importance of maintaining balance and respect within groups, families, and communities. Rather than drawing attention to themselves, many people in Japan prefer to contribute quietly to the group around them. This way of thinking can be seen in many everyday situations. In workplaces, teamwork and cooperation are often emphasized more than individual recognition. In schools, students are encouraged to support one another and work together during activities and projects. Even in public spaces, people are usually mindful of how their actions might affect others nearby. For example, it is common for train passengers to keep their voices low while traveling. Phone conversations are often avoided on crowded trains so that the space remains calm and comfortable for everyone. Small gestures like these help create an atmosphere of quiet consideration throughout daily life. Respect for others also appears strongly in the Japanese language. The language includes different levels of politeness depending on who is speaking and who is being addressed. Special forms of speech are used when speaking to elders, teachers, or people in positions of authority. Learning when and how to use these forms is an important part of communication in Japan. Another tradition that reflects this sense of care is the custom of gift giving. In Japan, gifts are often exchanged during holidays, visits, or moments of gratitude. The presentation of the gift is just as important as the gift itself. Items are often wrapped carefully in decorative paper or cloth. Even the act of offering the gift is done politely, sometimes with a small bow and a few humble words. One traditional wrapping method uses a square cloth known as a furoshiki. This cloth can be folded and tied in many different ways to carry or wrap items. The same cloth can be reused again and again, making it both practical and environmentally friendly. Another thoughtful practice in Japan is the habit of bringing small souvenirs when returning from a trip. These souvenirs are known as omiyage. People often bring boxes of local snacks or treats to share with coworkers, friends, or family members. Airports, train stations, and tourist areas across Japan sell beautifully packaged regional specialties specifically for this purpose. This tradition reflects the idea of remembering others even while traveling far from home. Cleanliness is another aspect of life that many visitors notice quickly. Public spaces in Japan are often remarkably tidy. Streets, parks, and train stations are usually well maintained, even though public trash cans are not always common. Instead, people often carry their trash with them until they find a place to dispose of it properly. Children learn these habits early in school, where cleaning shared spaces is part of the daily routine. Because of this, taking care of public areas becomes a shared responsibility. Small acts of courtesy also appear in everyday greetings. When entering a shop or restaurant, customers are often greeted warmly by staff. When leaving, a polite thank you exchange usually follows. These brief moments of politeness help create a friendly atmosphere, even in busy urban settings. Many traditional values in Japan emphasize modesty, patience, and mindfulness. Rather than rushing through tasks, people are often encouraged to approach work carefully and thoughtfully. This mindset can be seen in traditional crafts, cooking, gardening, and many other activities where attention to detail matters. At the same time, Japan is constantly evolving. New technologies, fashion trends, and cultural ideas continue to shape everyday life, especially in large cities. Young people explore new forms of art, music, and creativity while still living within a culture that respects long-standing traditions. This balance between change and continuity has helped Japan remain both innovative and deeply rooted in its history. And within this balance, countless small gestures of kindness, respect, and cooperation quietly guide the rhythm of everyday life. Another fascinating part of Japan's story is the way its cities have grown and changed over time. Many of the largest cities in Japan began as castle towns. Centuries ago, powerful lords built large castles as centers of government and defense. Around these castles, communities slowly developed as merchants, craftsmen, farmers, and samurai settled nearby. Over time, these small communities expanded into busy towns and eventually into the cities we know today. Even now, traces of these old castle towns can still be found across Japan. Some castles have been carefully restored, standing proudly above modern streets and train stations. Others exist only as stone walls or quiet parks where the original buildings once stood. Walking through these areas can feel like stepping briefly into another time. Japan's cities are also known for their unique neighborhoods, rather than one single center. Many cities contain numerous smaller districts, each with its own character. Some neighborhoods are famous for shopping and fashion, where bright storefronts and crowded streets fill the air with energy. Others are quieter residential areas with small houses, local bakeries, and neighborhood parks. This variety gives each part of a city its own rhythm and atmosphere. Tokyo, for example, is often described as a city made up of many smaller towns. Each district has its own style. Some areas are filled with electronic stores and towering signs. Others are known for art galleries, bookstores, and peaceful cafes. There are also neighborhoods where traditional wooden buildings still line narrow streets. In these places, you might find small family businesses that have been operating for generations. A tiny shop might sell handmade sweets, traditional pottery, or carefully prepared tea. These businesses often pass their knowledge from parents to children, continuing traditions that stretch back many decades. Transportation has played a major role in shaping modern Japanese cities. Railway networks connect neighborhoods with remarkable efficiency, allowing millions of people to move across cities every day. Train stations often become lively centers of activity. Around many stations, you can find shopping centers, restaurants, offices, and apartment buildings all gathered together. This design allows people to live, work, and shop within walking distance of public transportation. Bicycles are also a common sight in many Japanese cities. In residential neighborhoods especially, rows of bicycles can often be seen parked neatly outside homes, schools, and train stations. Cycling provides a quiet and convenient way for people to travel short distances. Even with so many people living close together, many Japanese cities maintain a sense of order and calm. Street layouts may appear complex at first, with winding roads and narrow alleys, but local residents often know their neighborhoods very well. Small details help guide people through the city. Colorful signs mark local shops, lanterns hang outside restaurants, vending machines glow softly along the sidewalks. These familiar landmarks help create a sense of place within the busy urban landscape. Urban parks also play an important role in city life. Large parks offer wide open spaces where people can walk, jog, or relax beneath trees. Some parks include ponds, gardens, and historic buildings that reflect the area's past. During seasonal events like cherry blossom viewing or autumn leaf watching, these parks become gathering places for families and friends. Children play on open lawns while adults sit together sharing food and conversation. Even during quieter times, parks provide moments of calm within the busy flow of the city. Birds rest in the branches, water moves gently through small streams, and visitors can pause for a few peaceful minutes before continuing their day. City life in Japan often balances movement and stillness. Crowded train platforms exist only minutes away from silent temples. Busy shopping streets can quickly give way to quiet residential lanes. This mixture of energy and calm is one of the things that makes Japanese cities feel unique. Within a short walk, it is possible to experience both the excitement of modern urban life and the quiet echoes of history that continue to shape the culture of Japan. And now, as our time together slowly comes to an end, the quiet rhythm of the night continues on. The streets grow a little calmer, the lights glow a little softer, and the distant sounds of the city begin to fade into the background. Throughout this journey, we've explored small pieces of Japan's culture, history, traditions, and everyday life. From ancient temples and peaceful gardens to busy train stations and quiet neighborhood streets, Japan is a place where the past and present exist side by side. Centuries-old customs continue quietly alongside modern technology, and traditions passed down through generations still shape daily life in subtle ways. We've drifted through stories of samurai and castle towns, seasonal festivals and changing landscapes, carefully prepared meals and moments of calm reflection. All of these small details together help form the rich and unique culture of Japan. But like any place in the world, Japan is more than just its history or its landmarks. It is also the everyday moments, the sound of footsteps on a quiet street, the glow of a lantern outside a small restaurant, the gentle movement of leaves in a temple garden. These quiet details often tell the most meaningful stories. As the night continues, the city keeps moving in its own steady rhythm. Some people are just finishing their day, heading home through softly lit streets. Others are beginning early morning shifts while the sky slowly prepares for sunrise. And somewhere in between, the calm atmosphere of the night offers a moment of stillness. If you've been listening while resting or trying to fall asleep, this is a perfect moment to simply let the thoughts fade away. Let the stories drift quietly into the background, like distant lights disappearing down a quiet road. There is nothing else you need to focus on. Just relax, breathe slowly, and allow your mind to settle. Thank you for spending this peaceful time exploring Japan together, and wherever you are in the world tonight, may the rest of your evening be calm, quiet, and restful.